Welcome to Young's Repair Shop. On this episode, we're going to see if this 1979 Cadillac Sedan Deville will run again and drive after sitting for 27 years. Let's get started. Don't mind the chickens, they're loud. First off, let's start by just looking at this car. I picked it up yesterday, and the story on it is the fella's uncle bought it brand new, and he drove it until he passed away. And when he passed, the fella's mom bought it from the estate, and she drove it until 96 when they couldn't get it to pass emissions anymore. I'll turn my headlamp on here. And they parked it in 96, which in North Carolina is when they started emissions testing. So, and the story goes that they tore out the old engine, the original engine out of it, and put in he said he thought it was a 472 Cadillac, so I'll have to run the numbers on that. But this thing has sat in a barn since 96, very clean, very straight. And it's not your standard run-of-the-mill Sedan Deville. This is a Pheaton, which means, basically from what I have found out, instead of a Lando top or a hard top, it's got a cloth top to make it look like a convertible. So that's pretty interesting. Until this one, I never knew those existed. So really excited to get this thing going. Always wanted a Cadillac. My grandpa had a Cadillac that was blue. It wasn't this old. I want to say it was a 80s model. But very, very excited to get this one running and going. Let's get inside of it. The inside of this thing is pretty clean, just like the outside is. Seats tore a little bit. Driver's seat is. Passenger seat looks really good. Sorry for the lighting. I'm wearing a headlamp. All the knobs and pedals and everything's in pretty good shape. Got a CB radio in here. Everything looks really good in this car. Into the back seats look good. I don't know what those fit. The guy put them in here because he didn't know if they were to this car or not, but pretty positive they're not. They look like maybe for an older Cadillac, maybe. I really don't know. Got some windshield de-icer, Igloo. Got a gasket of some kind. Valve cover gasket. Just one. Anyway, I'm wearing gloves because it is cold out here. Nothing in that pocket. Of course, the headliner's sagging a little bit. Got the pins in it. Keep it up. It must have been sitting with the back towards the sun, because the back of this seat and the back here is faded more than anything. Just overall in really good shape. Like I said, I think that top is pretty neat. We'll get the keys here and open the trunk. This is probably my favorite. Well, I don't know that it'd be my favorite part, but one of the more interesting parts of the whole car. Of course, you got your big trunk. And there's the floorboard of the trunk. And this thing is just in great shape. And it looks like it just rolled off of the factory floor. So I really don't know. Got some kind of whatever that is. know what this is. It looks like a shower curtain. I don't know. So, yeah, that's what we got for trunk. Well, if I could shut it good. Like I said, it's a family car. Was a family car. Been in the same family since it was brand new. The guy, I cheated a little bit, and I've already pulled all the paperwork out of the glove box because I didn't want it to sit out here and get messed up or anything. But going through the paperwork, the guy bought it brand new in '79, traded in a '74 Coupe Deville for it, and brand new this thing was $15,000 some odd dollars. I find stuff like that pretty interesting, so just crazy to think how prices of things have changed. But here's the horsepower maker here now. Like I said, I was told that this engine is not original to the car. I was told it was out of an older Cadillac, like a 60s some model. The guy seemed to think that it was a 472. I think originally this car would have had like a 425, I think. I don't know. But anyway, that's what he was saying it was. I had to crawl back over this 10-foot hood here and try to get to the back of the block and run some numbers, but of course got our HEI distributor. I'm sure nothing will be wrong with that. And even though it's been swapped out, it still looks like it belongs in there. It definitely doesn't look like somebody's been messing with it too bad. So let's tear into this thing, see if we can get it started. All right, got the air cleaner pulled off, and surprisingly, it is not full of mouse house for having sat so long. Now I will say, I do already know that the brakes are not blown out, surprisingly. I don't know how, but they're not. I was trying to get my headlamp turned off so I don't blind y'all. But of course, getting it on and off the trailer had to mash on the brakes, so somehow or another they're not blown out. I'm sure they're moments away from being blown out, but they're not. Now, that's a good thing. The carburetor does not seem to be seized up. Got our die-soft battery here. We got a battery in here. Of course, it's older than the heels, so we'll take it out and swap the battery around and see what we get. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I found these on eBay several years ago, and I've put them on almost all my GM vehicles that I have room to put them on, and they're called I think the Better Battery Post or something like that. But they look like, let me make sure I'm showing them to y'all. They look like this. They got a square, if it'll focus, they got a 1/4-inch square in the end of them, and they're long, so you can hook like jumper cables or a charger to them or whatnot. I bought several sets of them, and like I say, I've used them on about everything. Of course, you don't want to use them on something you ain't got no room for, but I really like them. They're a lot heavier built than most of your just battery bolts for GM, so I'll try to find them if they still exist and put them down in the comments, or link them, whatever that's called. let's make sure we're not going to catch on fire here. I don't hear anything. Don't see any sparks, so that's good. Now I did go ahead and hook the battery up because when I went and looked at this car, I did put my hands on the, actually I put them on the power steering pump there just to see if the car would spin over. Now I never figured out if it would spin all the way over or not, but I figured if it spin a little bit, as easy as it did, it's probably fine. I did go ahead and hit the hood hinges and the, oh heavens, the latch with some WD-40. So I guess I'm gonna go get some 2-stroke gas because that's about the only gas I keep here, and see what she does. Now another interesting note is I went ahead and pulled the radiator cap off and checked that just to make sure it hadn't ever froze up, and it's full of green, and I mean green antifreeze. So I guess it's all right. Now if you're wondering why my gas looks like it's brown yellow, then it's probably because it's been sitting in my building since beginning of the year when I went and got 2-stroke gas last. So that's good. I'm sure it's really good quality. It doesn't smell all that great, but we're gonna pour some gas down in this thing and see what she'll do. I don't have a lid for my gas, so I'll lay it somewhere where it won't fall over. Oh, heavens. We've got all kinds of lights. Wow. This thing's got like 7 keys on it. All of them are different. Oh, we got buzzing. Oh, wow, that sounds like we're in the Price is Right. Well, here goes nothing. Nothing. That was nothing. Oh. 27 years, and she just lit off like she's been sitting 2 days. That's awesome. That is awesome. We're definitely going to have more battery. That battery is not big enough for this engine. Alright, I went and got my jump box for, I guess I shouldn't turn that on yet, for extra cranking here. I'm sure the battery cables are also really good, but I just want to hear this thing run like it's new again. Well, she definitely wants to run. Now it's going to be getting fuel to it, I suppose. I'm sure this monstrosity of an engine requires quite a bit of fuel to make it run. And it looks like that fuel line is going to be really fun to get to. Now I did forget to mention that I've already named this car. It's named Uncle Clay. The guy that bought this car brand new was named Clay. I think it was William Clay, but it was the guy I bought it off of. It was his Uncle Clay. That's what he kept calling the car. So Uncle Clay. Let's see if she'll start this time. Shown to have about a quarter tank of gas. I'm sure it's not any good. I swapped gasoline bottles because this one's got a fancy nozzle on it. I'm going to try to fill this carburetor up and see if the accelerator pump works. I'm sure it doesn't, but it is a quadrajet, so these are pretty resilient carburetors. I'm spilling stuff everywhere. It might be working. Heck yeah. That's the longest it's ran. I'm not so certain that my gas pedal's even working. I don't feel that hard to push. But it sounds like it's moving the pedal, so I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how well y'all can see these battery cables, but they're not good, especially this positive cable. The old battery, the negative cable was unhooked, but the positive was still hooked up. I really hope I can maybe just clean these up for now. I know it'll need some new ones, but I don't have anything here to make a new cable with, so. Well, I did just make this a lot more interesting. I broke off one of my things I was telling y'all about in the positive battery terminal, so gonna have to get that out now. We'll be back. All right, so I just went and got another battery because well, I couldn't get it out. I'm really bad about that sometimes, as far as over tightening stuff and wondering why it won't come loose or why it breaks or whatnot. So we just robbed the battery out of some other junk laying around here. We'll put that in the end. Go from there. All of these batteries are probably too small for this car, but I don't have anything else that's got an engine this size, which the battery that come out of it was only 670. These are 650s, so maybe they're not. I don't know. Alright, I got another battery in. Let's see if we can, oh, spilling gas everywhere. Let's see if we can get it to fire off again. Maybe it'll spin faster this time. And I got gas in my gloves. I believe we're going to have to figure out a fuel system for this thing. It acts like that's about the only thing that's keeping it from running good. Honestly, I would pull that fuel line off That's just going to be so aggravating. But I guess I'll have to do it anyway. I wonder what size that is. But this is not the right size. Doesn't appear to be. I've got a vacuum line right in the way. I'll take that off so it's not in the way anymore. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not the right size. I should know what size it is. Hey, that's it. Oh, the whole fitting and the carburetor's loose. That figures. There we go. Just tighten everything up and then loosen it again. Hey, that worked. Alright, we're getting it loose now. We've got one new plug wire in here. Red. All the other ones is factory colored. I tell you, this stuff right here is really kind of aggravating when it's falling down in your face, in your carburetor, and all that good stuff. I'm not seeing any wetness, so I don't guess we're pumping any fuel. Is it off yet? Come on. It's got to be close. I really wish I could spin it by hand, but I don't want to climb down and get my WD-40. I'm already up here, so I might as well just struggle. There we go. Nothing. No kind of sign that we're pumping any fuel. So that's good. Wow, I've never had a vehicle I could just climb right off of the core support onto the ground. That's pretty cool. Usually it's trucks. I'll be honest with you, I don't have a clue about a Cadillac engine. So we're just gonna have to figure this out together, I guess. I really don't. I see the fuel pump and I see a rubber line. And there's a metal line. It looks like I'm gonna have to climb up underneath it. I just don't want to do that. It looks like it's easy to take off. Just 2 bolts. But I don't know if these have a push rod like a small block Chevrolet has or not. Well, I was successful in spilling gas everywhere trying to pour it into the carburetor. But I wanted to see if the accelerator pump worked. Oh, it's starting to. It's starting to work. get in there real good, but we'll just... Okay. Huh. The lights don't work now. Oh. My door switches. Well, we got it to idle for just a couple minutes, or seconds, I mean. Other than something being very unhappy up here, it sounded pretty good. I didn't hear any knocking. No horrible noises other than whatever was happening up here. Still did not get any fuel coming up. I just wanted to show y'all this. Some of the lights in here is working. Radio's keeping time. I don't know how accurately, but it's keeping time. Speakers is working. Headlights is working. They need aimed very badly, but they are working. The auto dim, which I'll go into more depth detail later, but that's working. I've still not quite figured out what the sentinel light is, and it freaks out, but yeah, it's a little touchy. Oh, we got blinkers somewhere. I don't know where. I think I've got brake lights. I believe I have brake lights. Wow, that's impressive. So yeah, it's a little cream puff. I don't think the CB don't pick up anything. So no, it's not doing anything. Oh well. I wonder if the trunk button works. That's good. Man, this thing is comfortable. I better cut the lights off. Yep, trunk button worked. That's great. Hey, trunk light works. Wow. I don't believe I've ever had a vehicle the trunk light worked. That's impressive. I guess it goes up there somewhere. Old cat, well, my CB antenna just fell over. That's good. Shove that back in there. Well, so I realized that one reason it could be not pulling any gas is because it's probably got no gas in it. So went and got some gas, and I'm just gonna go back here and pour some in the tank, see if it leaks out on the ground. This would probably be easier if I popped the trunk. Gosh, I just can't get over these lights. I guess that doesn't work anymore. I guess I'll go ahead and do the right thing and put the other 2.5 in it too while I'm there. put about a total of 5 gallons in it. And I'm gonna cut that back on and just fill the bowl back up once again. That's probably over full, so that'll work. I'm gonna see what it'll do this time now that it's actually got some gas in it. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I had just left the keys in the trunk that doesn't open electronically now. But they were laying. Well, she ran for a good minute. Still no fuel whatsoever, so. And my guineas are really mad. Yeah, I have made every bird in my yard very angry. Will y'all hush? Oh my goodness. That is aggravating. Wow. Don't get guineas. Just don't. Well, I'm out of gas. Well, she never did pump. That's kind of upsetting, but it is what it is, I suppose. It just ain't pumping. But I think it's the fuel pump because I can suck fuel up through that hose pretty easily. So. Which tells me that the line from the pump to the tank and to the carb is pretty good. So I guess we'll get us a clicky clack and see if we can run it from that. I think that'll be it for tonight. Well guys, it's the 2 days has lapsed. Back out here on the Cadillac. I had some stuff going on with the house, so didn't film some of the progress, but I did hook this fuel pump up to it and a gas jug and got it to run consistent. While it was running, it decided to start pumping fuel out of the fuel pump. So hooked that back up. That's been working. Don't know if you can see it on camera, but got a little smokage going on. I have had it running long enough for it to actually warm up and open the choke. It's charging. No horrible belt squeals. Do have a horrible exhaust leak. That's not what I put in it, but that was my jug. Did put some transmission fluid in it because it was low. Have not tested the transmission yet, just have had it here running. So let's do that. Let's see if we can get it to fire up. I don't believe the accelerator pump on the carburetor works, or if it does work, it works not well. So you gotta just hope it works. There we go. No lights on the dash. It reads quarter tank. I don't know what that howling, screaming sound is when it does that. here is very sticky. It's not running all that great, but we got reverse if it don't die. Got neutral, got drive. It's not happy about it, but it's got it. So that's great. It don't like the fast revs. Yeah, it don't like them. I guess we'll clean our tools up and see about driving it around. See what it does. All right, we got it running. Got the tires aired up. Oh, I dropped you. Dropped you. I don't know what the scraping noise is that's going on. But right now, the goal is to get this very long boat of a car out of my driveway. I can tell you, it already rides good. My mirror just works somewhat. It's not actually alright. I can't see anything at all out of the rear glass. Seems to run alright. It just doesn't idle good. It seems to run okay. Nothing's coming. Keep dropping my phone. Man, it pulls this hill good. When you come right out of my driveway, there's a huge hill. Or, well, I don't guess it's huge, but it's big. It's carbureted vehicles. The test when they're cold and they don't run good, so. It shifted second. Man, this thing rides good. I can't feel any of the bumps on the road hardly. This will be awesome to take to work. We still have brakes. They're pretty soft, but they do work. That's surprising to be sitting as long as it had. Just look at that view. Got the Cadillac emblem on the hood, floating down the road. Got quite a bit of shaking going on in the front. It says I'm only going about 35. I think this road is 55. Yeah, this ground was shaking really bad. I don't know if it's the tires. What's going on there? Probably the tires for a second. But man, it just floats. just got done driving this thing around and vacuuming it some. Wound up putting another about 5 gallons worth of gas in it. It's starting to run pretty good. Still doesn't like idling very well. That new spring you see is, I was trying to get the pedal to feel a little stiffer. I'm used to riding around in trucks and stuff. It's really light feeling. Did realize that I broke the PCV hose off the front of the carburetor, so that may have something to do with why it's not running very well. Gonna try to get that fixed. Never worked on Cadillacs. I say I'm used to, you know, trucks like that or so. And those you can access the front of the carburetor. This one, my AC compressor right in front of the carburetor, so gonna have to try to figure that out. Might wind up having to take the carburetor loose, and I don't know. Shifts good, shifts into all 3 gears. Reverse feels pretty good. I did wind up stopping and trying to back up a little hill, and it didn't seem to like that too well, but it did work. Found some stuff that's unplugged over here that I honestly don't know where this goes. It goes to a motor. Oh, that's the electric antenna. Okay. Now that's unplugged. Also, my blower motor is unplugged, and this screw is out of it. So I guess I'm gonna put that back in and see if the blower motor works, or if it screams at me, or whatever it does. So yeah, surprisingly, it does still have refrigerant in it for the AC system. I doubt that works. I've never had the compressor kick on, but all in all, it's starting to come around. It desperately needs probably at least battery cables and a bigger battery. That battery is fairly new, and it came out of that, but it's fairly new, and it does not spin this engine over good. Even the other one I had before I broke it was still a 650, and it come out of a square body that had a 400 in it, and it doesn't spin it over very well. So I did notice this was pretty cool. I thought it does have, well, it's a tray. To me, it looks like another battery tray, but of course they've got the evap stuff over here, emission stuff. Brakes work good. Have not tested the windshield wipers. I had to clean so much crud out of here, and of course the windshield wipers are gone. I would like to find some more that are chrome though, kind of match the car. Don't have a clue where you find those at though. So I don't know what's going on here. I see some lines in the roof, like somebody's tried to pressure wash it at some point in time. That's interesting. Oh, just about tripped. But the lights are working good in here. The rear one started working now, somehow. My odometer never started working. My fuel gauge seems to be pretty accurate. At least I'm assuming it's pretty accurate. That'd be pretty cool if that worked. I think it reads... I love that ding. Sounds like we're on The Price is Right. It reads about half a tank. I've only put, all in all, about 15 gallons in this thing. Which, no, about 10. About 10 gallons. I put 2.5 and another 5, so surely half a tank's not 10 gallons, but it could have had some in it. It didn't ever sound like it did, but it could have had some in it. The trunk button works. Oh, well, now it's gonna prove me wrong. Trunk button has been working intermittently, but maybe it's something where driver door has to be open. I don't know. I just had the passenger door open a minute ago and turned the key on and everything, tried to get the button to work and it never would. So I don't know what's up there. The power seat started working. It's not happy to be working, but it's working. I cleaned that glass and half of the front windshield and that one and my mirrors. That way I could actually see what I was doing. It's keeping time pretty well. Yeah. Think we're gonna drive it to a family Christmas this evening. It shakes really bad in the front end, though. But if you keep it under 100, it's manageable. Oh, I forgot the key. The doors shut good. It's got some rust in it, but to be a 79 and for sitting as long as it has, I wouldn't expect anything less out of it. But I keep finding things that are unhooked. And I have looked at the back of the block and have confirmed that it is not a 425 or whatever would have been in this. And another thing that kind of helps me think that is that this exhaust manifold is hitting the upper control arm right there. So this is a bigger engine. What? I still don't know. I've looked up where to find the numbers, but I haven't found them yet. So we'll eventually find them, I guess, and run those, but it seems to be coming around. The accelerator pump has started working now. Just a fun car, really. To me, it is. I love this thing. I really do. I think this will be a fixer up and just drive the daylights out of it. I do need to find some bumper fillers for the back end and get those color matched, I suppose. But brake lights work. I don't think, no, those are just reflectors. The front turn signals work, but the side lights do not work. But these work. It looks like that high beam or headlight, whichever it is, has blown out. But they work. They're aimed horribly. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but yeah, those two are aimed horribly. And that one is also, I don't know how they're supposed to be aimed, but I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to look like that. So I will have to figure that out. I love this hood emblem. The other side of it looks better, but going down the road, having that in the middle of your hood, driving down the road is just awesome. It is charging. It's running good. So we'll keep pecking away at it, see what we can figure out on some of this other stuff. It's starting to run a lot better now. I did hook up the blower motor that I found the wire unplugged to, and it's still not working. So figure I either have a bad blower motor or wires to it are bad or gone or something. Surprising to me, as long as this thing's been sitting, there really wasn't a lot of mouse carnage. So it's not in bad shape as far as that goes. Never mess with a Cadillac, especially not the Cadillac engine. Gosh, this thing runs good. Just runs great. Got exhaust leaks, of course, but I realized I never filmed what come out of the tailpipe when I first started it. But of course we're in sand right here, but she was pretty rich and filled up. Figured I'd get down here and change the oil on this thing since it ain't been changed in 27 years. And I want you to take a look at that oil filter. I've never seen a oil filter rust quite like that, but that's pretty neat. Look at how beefed up all the suspension is on this thing, which I never had a Cadillac. I guess that's pretty normal for a Cadillac. Got to hold all this weight. I want you to look at the shape of the brake lines. That gives me pretty good confidence that they're not going to blow out anytime soon. I don't know, that one right there might look pretty not all right, but fuel pump's working for now. I'll probably replace that later when it stops working on the side of the road somewhere, but I guess for now we're just going to change the oil. I was going to change the spark plugs today too, but Advance didn't have but 6 of them. Hard to change spark plugs in a V8 when you don't have all 8 of them. So, well, it definitely don't look like good oil, but it don't look like it's got any shiny metal flakes in it, so that's good. Well, I decided to go ahead and change the plugs tonight. I was somewhat impressed, perplexed, confused, maybe. This big old engine only holds like 4 quarts of oil. I found that pretty interesting. I did put diesel oil in it and some zinc additive because I figure it can't hurt it any. But I don't know if y'all can see or not, but way back up in there, let me get my light out. That spark plug back up in there, that one's not easy to get to, especially this being the not original engine. I assume makes it harder because it's wider. All the other ones look easy, but that one, man, it's hard to get to. And of course, when I pulled it apart, the spark plug wire come apart. There's the end of that. So I'm going to change the 6 that I have and leave 2 easy ones for tomorrow to change. Hopefully we can get this thing to start running a little better. It'd be pretty awesome to get this thing to its full potential. Well, I went ahead and changed the 6 spark plugs that I had. I changed all of them except for that one and that one. So those will be easy to do. My rear wire on that side, the end of it pulled off, which it had been replaced. It was that red one. So I went and found one. It's not got the straight ends on it like these have. It's got a hooked end, but it'll work. I gotta wait on an air filter for it. Nobody around me seems to have one for this particular vehicle, so gotta wait on that. Probably make another video, maybe tuning it some, because it's still not running well. Unless the spark plugs fixed it, it still wasn't running quite right. Kind of hesitating at throttle and whatnot, so gonna try to get that figured out. Well, I think that'll be it on the Cadillac for now. This thing's set for 27 years and we got it running and driving basically with just a battery and some gas. So they are out there, easy revivals like this. I figured myself it was going to be a whole lot harder than this. So they're out there. Just go find them and bring them back to life. I am going to revisit the Cadillac because I like it and I want to drive it around. So I'm going to try to get the shake in the front end to go away and get it running a little better. It's still got kind of a hesitation pulling off and at throttle. I was going to try to fix that with wheels and tires off of my square body because apparently they're the same bolt pattern according to the internet, but I don't have the keys for the locks on the hubcaps, which I didn't even know were a thing. Apparently people used to steal hubcaps. I didn't know. So got those on order. Should be here, but it's Christmas time, so who knows when they'll show up. Until then, I'll probably just might play with it a little bit, but stay tuned. I do have another old boat of a car that I'm going to be trying to fix and get it running and driving. It's not a GM product though, about the same era, but it's not a GM. So stay tuned and we'll see if we can get another one going. Until next time.